All right, Pesky Pole YouTube channel, welcome in. We've got some Out of the Park Baseball 23. I've done this a little bit a few times with setting up how I play certain types of game modes on Out of the Park Baseball 23. There are so many ways to play this game, which is what makes it great. It makes it tough for those of us who have ADHD, ADD, trying to decide what to do, what you want to play. But um, I set it up before, but this time I'm actually going to play it. I'm kind of craving setting up a brand new fictional type of baseball. And so what I do is this, and you can do it the way you want to do it, but I want to set up a fictional league, but I want it to have some historical context to it. In other words, I wanted to play along like real baseball did, only with the real teams, only with players that are fictional. Um, and listen, I'm going to do a second one too, in which we use actual players and historical players too. Um, and I like those too, but a lot of times too, you just it's hard when you're playing out of the park baseball, the history changes, and that's the cool part about it too. For some of us, though, I struggle sometimes when, like, Carl Yastrzemski turns out not to be a Hall of Famer, and that's not nothing wrong with the out of the park baseball game. That's just the engine how it goes, and some people like that idea that you have new players, new historical players have become great. That you might have Phil Nevin become the home run, and some like that stuff, and I think it's cool to do that too. Um, but there's bias involved in that. So with the fictional players, there's no bias. Like you're reading the reports and you really become attached to your guys too. I've done this a few times, so you really become attached to your guys. So I'm going to do a historical or a fictional Red Sox team. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to start 1980. I'm a kid of the 80s. Okay, I love the 80s. We're going to play through it, um, and we're going to keep this going through the 80s and 90s and whatever. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go historical now, and I'm going to show you why I do it this way. You can go fictional tab before. It's just I like doing it. I think it's more accurate this way in terms of what I'm trying to do. Okay, and I'll show you how I do this. So complete history. No, we're not. 1980s when this history is going to start. So I am going to import the real minor leagues, though. I like the real minor leagues, and I'll explain that later on too. Okay. We're going career play. Okay. Yes. All right. So 1980, we're starting off. All right. So it's going to load up here for a little bit. Um, Still the best game for your buck out there out of the park baseball 23. There's so many things you can do. You can do the as played lineups. You can do historical what ifs. You can do fictional leagues. And so it's really cool how you do these things. And I've been playing this game since, oh man, out of the park four, I think. Out of the park three. No, actually, it might have been out of the park two. Um, it's been a long time. It's been over 2 decades playing this game. So to me, it kind of comes naturally how I do this thing. So we're not doing it. We're not doing historical transactions and lineups. If you're playing as played, real life stuff, you do that. Okay. I don't require full minor league rosters. Okay. Preference. All right. We're going to, I don't think expand the league. We are. We're going to hold an expansion draft when we get to that point in 93. Okay. And we're going to make sure that the finances go. So we're going to make it historical. We're going to use the OOTP development engine. All right. We're going to do that. These ratings we're going to put in here for now. Okay. But I'm going to show you how I use the ratings once I start playing the game though. Player pictures, all players. I don't care about coaches. So we're going to 20 to 80 for actual and potential. Um, we're going to do that for now. All right. And we're going to name it MLB. Commissioner mode and cannot be fired. The commissioner mode I'm going to take off once we get going, but I need the commissioner mode in for what I'm going to do once we get this set up. So commissioner mode, and the commissioner mode basically gives you, I mean, it's a way to cheat, I guess. You can look at the actual ratings of guys instead of the ratings of, you know, it makes the ratings more accurate, which you don't, if you're playing this game as a challenge, trying to build up your own franchise, you want to have a challenge. So we're playing in it now because we have to kind of set things up a little bit. We're going to take it off, and I'll show you how to do that later on. All right. So we've got that squared away. And of course, the logos and the face gens I already have set up in my folder. I think I made a video about that before, how to set that up. But so they're all going to go to the actual logos and uniforms that are 1980 accurate, I guess I should say. Which is another thing what's cool with this game. It's really easy to set that up and kind of have it work that way. All right, so we're the Red Sox, of course. The Cleveland Guardians, that's one good mad at the other day. I did this and I changed the name back to the Indians. And listen, I'm all for what the Cleveland Guardians did. I get it. I understand it. Um, and you know, I get it. I support it. That being said, we're trying to play a historical game, and they were the Indians back in 1980. And when if we play this game long enough and get to 2021, we'll change it to the Guardians. I like it kind of being accurate with the uniforms because if you keep the Guardians in there, the uniforms will not change the way they're supposed to. So I like seeing the history evolve too in the uniforms. The face chin uniforms are really cool in this game. That's one of the reasons why I want to do this is because I like seeing the old uniforms, how they change, and kind of have that way. So I'm not trying to be a you know person who's like anti woke uh, doing that. So all right, Red Sox. All right. So this is gonna load the 1980 players. Okay, you're gonna see all these guys in here. You see Eckersley, but we're not gonna do that. I love Eckersley. I love the 80 Red Sox, but we're gonna do this. So we're gonna go in here, league settings. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna um, erase entire league history. Okay, like all those players. We're gonna get rid of that stuff. Erase. This gets rid of all your record books. Okay, we're starting from scratch. So we're erasing all of these things here, all career sets of players too. We need to release players anyway. So all right. Now we're gonna clear rosters. Okay, so the rosters are cleared. Now we go into free agents, reports info, free agents because they're all free agents now. This is why you need the commissioner mode right now. In the commissioner mode, if in the regular mode you can do this. Okay, this part here. I'm gonna go make sure all players. Okay, boom here. I'm gonna highlight them all here. Boom, and just right click. Okay, and delete players. All right, they're all gone. I got no players in my league right now. None. None. Okay, no players. No players in the Red Sox. Okay, I've got no players if I go to the International League. Okay, the Paw Sox have nobody. Okay, no one. All right. And I love the fact that you got the real leagues here. That's why I did the whole Action Mountain Leagues. You got the American Association, Eastern League, the Sally League. Look at the Sally League teams. Let me check these out. Asphalt Taurus. I mean, it's just good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. That's why I did it. All right. So we got no players now. So now we're going to go into league settings and set things up a little bit. All right. So complete scouting system. Yes, that's kind of why we're playing the game. We're doing the scouting system. Um, keep all report. I don't like the scout. I like yeah. I like to keep all of my scouts. The OSA report is kind of the game engine. I don't like to keep those reports. I like to rely on my scouts, which makes it kind of fun if your scout stinks or not. And we're gonna include stats in their reports. Yeah, it's like their stats. Okay, so we got 2080, 2080, 2080. and we're going to change this later on too. I like playing without ratings. I like it because ratings aren't really realistic once the guys are playing. When I'm drafting these players, I'm gonna have the ratings up there. And during a draft, when we get to the normal draft, we're gonna do a draft in this league. When we get to the normal draft too, ratings are important too, potential ratings, because that's how the scouts kind of scout them with the ratings. Once they're playing though, you're looking at their numbers, you're looking at their stats, you're looking at what they're hitting left-handed hitting, and then you rely on that with your scouting reports as well. So I don't like using the numbers per se when I'm playing the game. I like kind of looking what they're doing. It kind of gives you a little more of a fog of war idea of it to it too. But I think it's realistic. I mean, like the Boston Red Sox right now are trying to figure out, you know, kind of what Corey Kluber's going to do this year for them. Okay, they're not looking at, you know, is he a 60? Is he a 50 fastball? I mean, they may have that stuff, but they're looking at what he did last year. What how many complete games? How many innings did he go? What was his whip? What did he do against left-handers? And so so that's how we're going to do it here. Stars. I don't like using the star rating. I might use that actually. No, I don't. We're gonna get rid of the star rating. I just don't like having them up there. We're gonna take that off anyway. Coaching system. Yes. Owner goals. I don't like the owner goals. I like the idea behind it, but they're kind of, I don't know, they don't make sense sometimes. And I mean, it just I don't like. I mean, it's your personal preference again, but not a big fan. So I like going to all major leagues here. This is kind of just the game logs. I like a lot of stats. So once again, personal preference about what you want to keep. These files get big though. So if you play a while, prospect rankings annual, I like doing them once a year. Okay. Storylines, yes, we're playing with fictional guys in a second, so we want storylines. That kind of brings in more stuff to your guy. It brings in more stuff to him. High injury rating, I like this. I like to see his actual rating. I want to go, I don't think anyone has that injury rating in real life, right? You look at how many games they play. Like this dude hasn't played a full season in 4 years. Well, obviously, he gets hurt a lot, right? That's how we look at that. We don't have an injury rating. There is no injury rating on Rafael Devers right now. We look at the fact he's been pretty durable, right? Trevor Story injury rating right now, the last couple of years is up there, right? He doesn't have a rating. We just know that he has not been healthy the last couple of years. So I like doing that. Suspensions, yes, we want some storylines in there. We want some storylines in there. So injury, I like the delayed injury diagnosis. That's realistic. I think I mentioned this before in a podcast or in a group I'm in too, that when a guy gets injured, they take him out of the game. You don't know how long he's going to be out for. It's not like oh, he's out for 6 weeks. You find out like a day or two later. You find out, oh man, he had an MRI, he did this. So we're doing that. Player personnel rallies, yes. We want to get the personnel. We're going to have fictional players. I don't like showing player nicknames. I just because I don't know. I make up my own nicknames for my guys based on what they're doing. Um, I want to keep all their stats because I want to look at their minor league stats and their splits and everything. Postseason stats, though, I care about Major League only. And then, yes, this is really cool. Make sure you check this. This gives you all the career batter versus pitcher stats, what you need, like what so and so is hitting off a certain this guy. So definitely do that for your guy because that makes the game even better, in my opinion. All right, so we're doing all this, all play. This is all the face gen stuff, which you can go into. I like making my trading hard, not like to the thing, and this I find is realistic for me. Okay, I set a little challenge here, folks. I want to rip off the AI. We're gonna archive those. Online, not doing that. So, league settings. Okay, so we're league teams. As we come down here, we're gonna fix the Guardians. We got to do this every year because when we go to next year, we'll update and do that. I know Island Park Baseball does that for what they're doing. And they should change their uniforms now too. Let's go ahead and check. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. Their uniforms. Yeah, there they are. Okay. That's 1980. So that's why we had to change their names and then do that. So leagues and teams. Okay. So rules we have because the DH in the American League can start and pitch remain when the DH is removed. That's an Otani rule. They didn't have that rule in the 80s, but I'm going to keep it in there. I kind of like it. I'm going to keep it in there. This is the reliever minimum batters faced. Okay, that's a new rule. I'm going to keep that out. That was 1980. Actual roster. Okay, expand the roster. I don't really like the expanded roster. Um, I just don't like the expanded roster. And I know they had 1980. It's cool. You bring guys up to get a look. Um, I just don't like that rule because I never liked that pennant races teams bring up those guys. So if you make your debut, you're going to make your debut because you earned it, not because you got called up at the end. So we're doing that. Once again, your preference. I won't change the game. It's how you want to play. We got a Rule 5 draft, thinking about option shares. Um, they can refuse my only assignment, which we'll have to keep that in there. All right, so I want to go back over here and skip the historical because this is kind of important with this draft coming up too. So we're gonna go to historical now. Expansion draft. They have 15. I think it's 25 players you protect per team. Um, to make the expansion teams really kind of bad. So 25 players you can your preference once again too, and choose the 3 years. That's how you do most of the expansion drafts. When we get to 90, 97, we expand. No, 93, we expand. The Marlins come in, and the Rockies, right? So here we go. Automatically import historical rookies. No, we're not going to do that. We're not importing historical rookies. We're playing all. Let's go back to rules again. So here's our draft again. So this is important to check this, okay? This right here is disable automatic creation of free agents in fictional draft class, okay? I went ahead and unchecked the historical players, but you also didn't check this. If you don't uncheck this, I think the still what will happen is you'll have no draft class now because you've already unchecked historical players coming in, and now you've got this checked here with no creation of fictional draft class. So this people have messed this up before. They're confused. Uncheck this right here. This is important. All right. Draft. The draft's usually in June. The issue with having it in June, you start off your first season, is that there is no draft order because we're playing the first ever year, right? There is no like last place team. There is no. So if you keep it in December, you'll have that. So I'm going to keep it December 15th. It's the default setup. I think it works the best out of the park baseball. To be honest with you, I know it's not quite realistic and real in June, but we're going to make a concession there. We don't need that many rounds. We need about 35 rounds. I do 35 rounds, and I don't draft them all. I let my computer draft most of these guys too. And this is just kind of settings for high school stuff and everything. You can do the lottery system. There's a lottery now. I'm playing baseball. I'm not going to do the lottery. I may do it for the my old time league though. My 54 season. I'll show you. But financials. This is just me. I like playing the AB system. Is what they had back in the day. I don't like that system. I'm gonna kind of keep it how it is now with the qualifying offers, and you can do a 1 year qualifying offer on a guy. You can't keep on qualifying offer him. The idea being, if you sign a guy, if you guys follow baseball, I'm sure you guys do. If you sign a free agent and the team offered him a qualifying offer, you lose a draft pick, which is why it actually hurts. The players don't like that rule because it lessens the market for him because some teams want to lose that draft pick to sign the guy. And of course, you can sign with your team with that qualifying offer, which is actually a really good 1 year deal. But we'll do it that way. All right. National media contract, same for all teams. local media contract, baseline. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we have those teams. Entire subject revenue, luxury tax. We'll do all that stuff. This is kind of how the 80s go, and it's going to change too as we move on. These salaries will bump up like they did in real life. So that's where we have that financial stuff in there. Do options. Once again, I don't like the reliever award. I don't like the Silver Slugger award. The dumb award. And once again, personal preference. This is the Gold Glove award. I like Great Glove too, but Gold Glove award. Once again, all personal preferences here. You can do what you want in this. But MVP, Cy Young. Um, you can check if pitchers can win the MVP. I believe they should be able to. Relievers may win the signing award. I believe they should be able to. And foreigners can win the Rookie of the Year award. I believe they should be able to. All right. Manual Hall of Fame voting and AL Hall of Fame voting, yes, we'll do them both. When we get to that point, we're going to take a while though for our seasons to get Hall of Fame votings in there. These are milestone things. You can kind of play around with it. Those are always pretty good. Spring training. Okay. And you can kind of mess around. I'm going to take that off for a second. I'm not a big spring training fan for this game too. Um, you know what? Let's do spring training. Come down here. It's got the LCS. It's best of five, 1980. We'll keep it that way. All right. All-Star game in 1980 was in LA, right? The Dodgers, wasn't the Dodgers had the All-Star game? I will find out. I think it's LA. I think it's the Dodger Stadium. I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive. Yep, Dodger Stadium. So we'll do All-Star game in Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay. All right, so players. We have no players right now. So how I'm going to do this is, you know, this is personal preference again. I'm going to go in here, default player origin. When I populate the league, this is what they mean by default player origin. I'm going to go right here to reset, okay, to this. I'm going to make this completely American. All right. Yeah, I'm not. I'll tell you what. Okay, so completely American. Amateur draft pool origin. Okay, we're going to go. The draft is 98% American. We'll have 1% Puerto Rico guys enter the draft, 1% from Canada. So what's going to happen now, eventually we're going to have our first ever Puerto Rico player break the majors, our first ever Canadian to make the majors, you know, when we have our first draft and they get called up, right? International amateur free agents. We're going to do default 26. I don't like using the hard international amateur cap. You got money to spend, you want to spend your money on international, go spend your money. I don't like doing the cap, okay? Discoveries among your team. I do default 8 per year. International established free agents, I do a few, I do 4. And I edit this down to Japan. And once again, personal preference, guys, personal preference. You can do what you want. You want your guys coming out of Bangladesh, okay, and you can do that. But Japan and Cuba. Now, normally Cuba has more players that come over this way. So we'll do 80% come from Cuba in this idea and 20% from Japan. So the 4, you might get one Japanese guy, one Cuban guy that's established, okay? And over here, this is all for the free agents and the scouting discoveries, okay? So once again, I'm going to do this real quick. And I'm not going to, I like to kind of limit how many countries come in just because I like going, you know, Cuba sometimes you have a guy that comes over from Cuba who escapes Cuba and is not an established free agent, and he can be discovered. We're gonna but a very slow amount. All right. I like Colombia. We got to get Mexico in there. Once again, personal preference. And this is the star ratings of how good these players are. So Mexico, I want Mexico in there. I want Venezuela in there. And of course, you got to have the main one, which is Dominican Republic. All right. Now, percent wise, so there's not many Cubans that come over um, as youngsters, right? That's very low. So Mexico about 1%, Colombia going 1%, Venezuela is about 5%, and the rest is Dominican. So let's see, 1, 6, 7, 8. So 92% Dominican Republic. So all this means is now that 92% of the guys of the 26 free agents and the 8 that are discovered per year per team, okay, will be Dominican Republic, and then you have that thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our first foreign player, our first international player break in, at some point. It could be through the free agent market, like a guy from Cuba or Japan. That'll probably be what happen, okay? Because next season, the '81 season, I'm sure there'll be a free agent who's ready to go, major league ready right now, and that he might be the first guy, or it could be a guy maybe a guy that you sign international amateur free agent, maybe can make the jump up there. But more than likely, it'll probably be one of those guys. Now, the guy will go down in our history, our league history here is the first Japanese guy, the first Cuban guy, the first guy from the Dominican Republic, the first guy from Mexico, the first guy from Venezuela, the first guy from Colombia, the first Latin player, the first Japanese player, Asian player. So all that stuff. So I like doing that. It makes it kind of more of the history of the game, right? Of what you're trying to build. Even though in 1980 there are already Dominican players playing in 1980, this 1980 season we're not going to have any or Japanese players, but it builds up um, kind of the history of having that idea too. We can kind of track those players um, and kind of build the story up for those players. All right. So historically, we already done that before. Doing this stuff. This stuff doesn't matter really because we're doing fictional players now, so it doesn't really matter. If you're doing real players, that matters. And if we do another one here, I'll show you how I do that. So 5-man roster, I start the highest rested guy usually, and that's good there. All right, so I'm going to save it. All right, guys, sorry about the sound. I had to turn the sound off real quick. I had to do something. All right, so now I'm going to go into the league settings here. Okay, I'm going to fill teams with fictional players. All right, boom. So I asked me, do you want creative player nationalities determined according to the team, nation, region settings? Okay, um, rather than the league player creation. Okay, now we want to go no. We created the league player creation region settings. We want to use our creations. Okay, so no. So teams are filled there. All right. Now, what I do here is I go down and do the same thing for International League. And I do no. I go down through all these. Eastern League. So I'm going to go through all these, fill teams with fictional players. Now we're going to release these guys, make a draft here too. Okay, so stay with me on this. We're doing this easy way I find to do it. Okay, so it gives us enough people in our universe. to draft and to have your minor league system, have prospects, and so forth. Florida State League, Midwest League. So it's a little bit tedious, but I mean, I love setting up stuff in out of the park baseball. I mean, it's kind of like my version of my daughter playing with her Barbies and playing dress up. I mean, it's the same joy she gets out of that, I get out of this. So I'm still a kid. I'm a 48-year-old kid. Let's be honest. New York Penn League. We'll fill those guys up. Northwest League. We'll fill those guys up. Pioneer League. That's it. All right. Always hit save in case the game freezes up on you. You don't want to lose all your stuff, for sure. So now I've got that done. So now I'm going to go back up to the major leagues, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule a fantasy draft. Okay, so this will release all the players for you. So all those guys are going to go into the little pool here. All right, it confirms it. Do you want that for sure? We do. All right. Now we go to our draft screen here. Okay. And you can see kind of how that is made out. Um, the serpentine draft. The serpentine draft means you draft 1 through 26, and then you go back in here. We're going to do randomize the order in a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to hit the mute button for a second. All right, back. So there's no real way. There's a way to a spreadsheet to do the draft order. Um, a CSV file, okay, which you can do that way too. What I do is this. So first of all, I like doing a straight draft. I don't like doing, and it's kind of how it goes. You see, 216 rounds and everything. So we're drafting these fictional players. So what I like to do here is this. I'm going to do random. So in 1980, the Phillies and the Royals played in the World Series. All right. So what I do is this. This is my thing. I'm going to hit random to either the Phillies or the Royals have the number one draft pick. Okay. And then whatever else I am, that's where I'm going to be. All right. So, um, to do so. So we're going to go random. All right. And look at that. The first time we did it, the Royals had the top draft pick. All right. So, I mean, usually it takes about 10 things. The Phillies had the last draft pick. Oh, wow. So, but the Royals kind of get the break. They have the first draft pick. Okay. The Red Sox are 16, so I'm kind of right in there with that. All right. So I'm going to hit save again real quick. I got that. That's pretty wild. Usually it takes about 10 clicks. That's it once again. So we're going to make sure we use the draft for all remaining rounds as well. All right. So Royals, Mets, Cubs, Dodgers. So and we'll see too going back how good these teams are. Not always the case that the Royals they'll have the best player, one of one of the top players in the league, but sometimes they don't do a good job building the rest of their team up. So you might see that as we play this out. But the Royals, should be decent, right? Should be decent over the next couple of years. The Mets should be decent. The Cubs, Dodgers should be decent, right? The Phillies, Padres, we'll see, how much they struggle. We'll see how much the Mariners struggle. I got the Red Sox team. We'll see what we can do with the Red Sox team. So, all right, let's go to inaugural draft. Let's go ahead and start the draft. Oh, there we go. We'll start the draft. All right. So I got the ratings on here now. Let's draft some people. So, auto draft for Kansas City. They take a guy named Perry Bone. And look at him 80 contact, home run power, 28 years old. Okay. Um, I like to do a short list here. Um, a top draft pick. He's kind of an odd top draft pick because, in the future, these will be young guys, but he's the first top draft pick. We know it's a fantasy draft. Add the top draft pick, so he's got in that list right now. So I like doing that. Auto draft until picked by Boston. All right, so we're up. All right, so I like to kind of look around here and see what I want on my team. Um, doing a scouting, I have my scouting director. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to do something real quick. I'm in commissioner mode right now, so I don't want commissioner mode. There's two things. Another thing I want to do too, I want to make sure I have all my scouts on my team. I want to go to finances and we'll do it. All right, so I'm gonna go in here real quick and do all this. I like to have my scout do the budgets for me. I like I have him fire my personnel for me, and instructor roles for me, um, minor league personnel for me. Okay, I do the signings and releasings, promotions. This is in the minor leagues. I'll have my GM, assistant GM do that in terms of who goes around the minors. Now, who gets called up to the active roster? That's me. And minor league player strategy, minor league managers will do that. But I'm in charge of the active roster demotions over here. Okay, but these guys are in charge of that. So I'm going to do that real quick and get out of commissioner mode. So let's go back to the draft. All right. So I'm going to ask my director who he likes. He likes a guy named Robbie Minette. Okay. I kind of look at here. What is he? He's a center fielder. He's got some good gap power. He's 23 years old. Okay. So he's young, which means when I do the contracts, I'll probably have him under team control for a while. He bats left. I kind of like a left-handed hitter in Fenway Park. Um, he's a pole hitter though. That's not the fly ball is normal. Um, Personal class unknown. He can play all kinds of stuff right here. He can play left field, outfield. Um, that's a pretty good player. So I usually let them kind of pick unless I don't like the guy. I might go look out if I want an ace or not. Um, but that's a pretty good dude. The only thing I don't like his eye or discipline. He doesn't walk a whole lot. But he's young there too. He could, that could come up a little bit. But I like the fact he's a great outfielder. He's got speed, and he's a great defender. So I think we're going to take him, Robbie Minette, with our first pick. I'm going to take him. All right. Auto draft until picked by Boston. Scouting directors and starting pitcher now. We got a pitcher, 27-year-old, David Regal. Stuff. He's 27, which means he'll probably be a free agent soon when I get him. That's the only problem. He's a good teammate. He's a finesse pitcher. No one there. Is there anybody else that's better than him though? So stuff. We got this Francis Aguirre guy. I like guys who control. There's this guy here, Oliver O'Connor. I like his control. He's 26 years old. Just goes about his business. He's got a good fastball curve change, circle change. I mean, lefty in Fenway Park is not ideal. Um, he's 26. He's probably going to be a free agent soon. I kind of like him better than Regal. So I'll come down here, draft him. So I got O'Connor in there. Auto draft next. I really want to get some more starting pitchers. So I can see the starting pitchers. There are not a lot of great starting pitchers in this draft. So I need to kind of really kind of get some guys. So I'm going right here. So this guy here, he's got good movement. Another lefty, J.P. Tuttle. Movement control, has a high baseball IQ. I mean, two lefties in the rotation. He's also 26. Curveball splitter. He holds runners well. I mean, the Red Sox had two. Should I go with Tuttle? I like his control and movement. Mike Sprague probably won't be around. He's 26. Good teammate. Ground ball. We're gonna go with this guy here. Ground ball pitcher Sprague. If that Tuttle guy's there next round to take him though. So we're taking Sprague. Did Tuttle go? Tuttle got drafted. I wonder if Sprague would have been drafted. I'm sure he would have. Let's look for Tuttle real quick. The Reds got him. So that's kind of got to watch and see, how he ends up. If we kind of regret doing that. Greensmith, Matt Greensmith. I like his stuff, his movement and control. Intelligent on and off the field. We're going to build a good rotation. We're going to build a big time rotation. We're going to take him. We're going to take Greensmith. So we're going to have pitching in the 80s for the Red Sox. Okay, so we're going to take him and do that. All right, so now we'll go back to scouting. We got three starting pitchers. Catcher, that's important. Let's see this Keith Stasic. I don't like his arm. I don't like that. I do need a catcher though. Catchers are important. If I can find an elite catcher, I'll take one. But if you can't find an elite one, it might be better to kind of let him go. So we got a contact guy. Here's a power guy. I. Here's a 70 I and a 50 power. A 55 power. He's older. He bats left. We've already got lefty in the lineup right now. 50-40, solid teammate, likable. He strikes out a lot. It's kind of like a modern player. All or nothing. Fly ball hitter. Ray Spica. Maybe Spica. I kind of like him. This guy bats left too. Jeff Liss. Oh, I like him. The name Liss doesn't really make. Is there any guy named Liss? Sometimes they change their name. It doesn't make anything. Um, I like this guy. Good guy. home run power. He's 31. I'm gonna change his name though. So I like sometimes using like names that we know. Like let's go with Jeff Listash. I like that name. Sometimes I change names up a little bit. I like that. Jeff Listash. So you're coming to Boston. So Jeff Listash is on there. All right. So we got a catcher. By the way, is he a lefty again? I forgot enough he's lefty. I need to know this stuff. He bats left. Okay. All right. Craig Mulford, third base. Third base is important too. He's a great defender. He's Adrian Beltre-esque. Doesn't mind playing second fiddle. Okay. He's humble. I like that. Contact. He's got some power. I just put, but he's an elite third base defender, and he's a right-handed hitter too. 27. Craig Mulford. You're coming home, my friend. You're coming home to Boston. Welcome to Beantown. All right. Reliever. Mike Wood. Mr. Hustle. I like this. Bring in the wood. Sidearm. I like that. Sidearm, arm slot. Right hander. Coming in to face those tough righties in Fenway Park. He's got pretty good stamina. 94, 96. He's a spark plug. Yes. Yes. Yes, my friend. I like him. Rec starting pitcher. Okay, we've done a lefty here. We've got one lefty or two lefty now. We didn't draft that one guy, did we? So we got Sprague and we've got hold on. Oh, so we got right, left, right. Okay. Oh, I lost the guy. Here it is. There it is. Oh, they gave me a different guy. Left field, Brandon Simpson. They gave me a different guy. That's okay. Brandon Simpson, left field. He's 29. Good contact, good gap power, average home run power. Got good speed, pretty good range, decent outfielder. He enjoys country music. He can play all three outfield spots. Line drive hitter. 29 years old. He bats right again. Left field. Let's go ahead and get him. Let's get him. Right fielder. Okay, so he's gonna bat left. This guy here. We got our catcher left. Ryan Porter's a left-handed. Right field. We need to have a good right fielder, arm wise. He's pretty good. I don't know if I like him a whole lot. Let me see. Right fielders. What we got? Best defensive right fielders. See who can hit a little bit. This guy here. He plays third base though too. Dave House, right field, and third base too. Not a bad teammate. He's a good right fielder. Um, I kind of like him. He can play all over the place. We got a third baseman already. I kind of like him playing right field. Plus, you gotta have that DH stat too. I'm gonna change his name though. I like he's gonna go by David. David House sounds better. We're gonna draft him. First base, Steve Jager. He can be a DH too. Uh, Warm individual, nice guy. Home run power, right-handed. We'll take him. We need some bats there. So, all right. Reliever, lefty out of the bullpen, Young. This guy's 22, bullpen, person class unknown. Okay, sidearm lefty. So I like this. We got a sidearm right guy, a sidearm left guy. Dustin Outen. He will get you Outen. I like that. I like that. Get him. All right. Right. They're starting pitcher right now. 20-year-olds. These are guys probably not going to start on your roster right away. 20 years old. You see that there. Let me go ahead and look at. I don't know if I like him. I'm going to go look and see what we have for starting pitcher to our left. Because right now we got a who's left there in starting pitchers. John Frederick, movement is this guy. Ryan McFarland. Ground ball pitcher. He's a good quote. He's young. Let's get him. He'll probably start the minor leagues though. We'll draft him. I like because Scott Abbott's still there. I like him for the rotation now. Let's see him. Teachable spirit, humble. I like him. Good guy. Another ground ball pitcher. So I like him. We need him for the rotation. He'll probably be opening day roster. Um, so we got five starting pitchers, but really one's gonna be young. So I want to see if I got anybody else here and shore up this pitching. Here's a 21-year-old guy, Mike Risch. I like him a little bit. Doesn't stand out. I like him. He can be a good fifth starter or a bullpen guy. Let's get him. All right, so our pitching's pretty good now. Let's see what the scout says. Reliever, Tyrell Sherman. Not a good clubhouse guy. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Let's go relievers. We're not doing that, guys. We want guys who want to be here. Got a good guy movement. I want a guy with control. This guy here. Ray Buono. Buono. Okay, heart's not always in it. I don't like guys like that. Sounds like you're lazy. Sounds like you don't love the game. We gotta have guys that love the game. We have guys that love the game. Control. Julio Hernandez. Let's take a look at Julio. He's a good quote. Bullpen, sidearm guy. Let's pick up Julio Hernandez. Bridge guy in the bullpen. All right. Second base. We have no second baseman yet, do we? No shortstop either. The right field we have. It's just not showing up there. So second base guy, I don't like his range. He knows how to fit in. I like his contact and gap power. We'll see. Let me see. Matt Kale. Sounds healthy, Matt Kale. Let's go second base. Let's take a look here. We got some power. Vaughn Cooper, who plays a little third base too. He's got good eye and power. Ryan Garza. Steve Adams, 25. We need some younger guys too because of that whole. So let's see here. Avoid K. Uh, I don't know. Let's go to shortstop, man. We got to get a shortstop first anyway. That's more important. A lot of these guys are infield in here too. So Garza keeps on coming up. Let's see a Garza here. He's got good defense. He's not all that team. He's selfish, but I don't mind selfishness. Your utility guy, can play second base, third base, short. He's got some power. He's from DC. We're gonna take Garza. We'll take Garza here. We got Jeremy Hannon, second base. Okay, good guy. He's a good guy. Good contact. He avoids Ks. He's a spray hitter. He can switch hit. Veteran presence. We'll take that. We'll take that. So we have a shortstop. I said no shortstop. We have a shortstop though. We have a shortstop. We do need another outfielder. We gotta find the kind of guy who can DH for us too. So outfield, some guy with the best hitter left on the run right here. We've got Ralph Scott, all three spots. He's a left-hander. He's smart on and off the field. Often shows a lack of effort though. Uh, don't need that. Best contact hitter we have left here, the outfielders. Let's take a look here. Here's a guy, Logan Dorn. Spark plug guy. He can play the corner outfield spots. Veteran. I kind of like Logan Dorn. Let's bring him in. Boom. Um, Center field. We need a backup center fielder too. Kind of a guy. Look at this guy here, Flynn. I like this guy. Plays a little third, left. He's young. Very competitive and enthusiasm, contagious. I kind of like that. Jamie Flynn doesn't run well on the bases. I like this guy. I can stash him in the minor leagues. Some depth right there. We're going to get him. Let's go all batters now. See if we can find someone who. Here's this guy here, Steve DeWeese. I'm gonna change his name. I'm gonna Steve Dewey. We're gonna draft this dude. He's American and Canadian. Steve DeWeese. So we'll keep his name. I like this guy. He'll probably be my DH. Make sure I save this now. We've done a lot of work here. This Vaughn Cooper guy. Second base, third base. Prankster. He's got some power. Bench player. Let me pull him in there and get him in there. Boom. Let's go another some infielders here. Let's find more guys who can play shortstop. Ben Oliphant can play third and short. Dedicated and passionate. From New York, New York. He's probably a Yankee fan. That's all right. Let's put him in there. So at this point, I have, my team, the guys I want. So we can do this. There's 216 rounds. So what I usually do now is I save it. Okay. And then I'm going to I'll do one more here. Backup catcher. I like this guy for backup catcher. Bobby Ricard. We'll take him. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and say auto draft, complete draft. Okay. I'm going to let my scouting directors kind of draft all my other guys. We're going to do this right here. Boom. Okay. And trust it. Set up my team. And I'm going to make some adjustments too. So there we go. So as you kind of see, my team right here, um, projecting starting right here. This could change there too. Oliver O'Connor is like the third best starting pitcher in baseball. Okay. Um, Wood, Eklund, two of the best relievers in there. Yeager, where's my center fielder? They got Sam Bond. So they probably have that young guy I took down the minors. We'll mess around with that a little bit too. So that'll be our next episode. We kind of get into our building our team. But that's kind of how I did it. So my team is built that way. We come back for episode 2. I'll do another second episode. We'll talk about kind of building my roster up and kind of making some changes and who's going to be with the big club, who's not. We'll check out how their teams did and preseason predictions and all that good stuff. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.